Hello there, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and members of the public. My name is Tatiana Arnaud. I am your city engineer, and this presentation is for the award of Agreement A-8480 to Taft Electric Company for the traffic signal modification project, which is 5 signals, specification PW 19-97. So the recommendation today here is that the City Council approve and authorize the following for a total of $3,022,339 in project funds for the Oxnard Saviors Traffic Signal Improvement Project, 5 signals, specification number PW 19-97, project number 173102. So the first recommendation is that the mayor to execute agreement A-8480 with Taft Electric Company in the amount of $2,518,615.46 for the project. 2, a project contingency amount of $251,861. Number 3, a project allocation amount of $251,861 for the engineering, inspection, survey, and project management for this project. And finally, number 4, a budget appropriation of $92,050 from the Federal Transportation Grant Fund 275, a budget reallocation of $1 million within the Capital Outlay Fund 301, and a budget reallocation of $424,591 within the Circulation System Improvement Fees Fund 354 from the Traffic Signal Modernization Project 203106. So a little bit of background here. I was mentioning that this is 5 signals. So the 5 signals are located primarily down Oxnard Boulevard and Saviors Road, with only one actually being on Oxnard Boulevard, which is at Oxnard and 5th. So we'll be upgrading that traffic signal system here after this award. And then we'll be going down Saviors Road at Elm, at Bryce Canyon Road, at Bard Road, and finally at Pleasant Valley Road. So essentially what the purpose of this is to enhance vehicle circulation and mobility in these intersections. So right now, these are intersections that are definitely in need of improvement so that we can make sure that cars can flow more freely through here. And it provide some pedestrian improvements by updating the crosswalks and the existing curb ramps to meet current ADA requirements at each of these locations. So obviously that's really critical work here to make sure that our pedestrians throughout the city have their ADA access. This work does include the replacement of all of the signal poles, the mast arms, the signal heads, and the controllers. We'll be including LED luminaires or streetlights as part of this. We will also be installing detection loops and cameras. This is part of just getting all our traffic signals upgraded to be able to connect also to our traffic management center. And like I mentioned, we'll be doing some ADA curb ramps and crosswalks for our pedestrians. And finally, we'll also be upgrading our signage and striping in these 5 locations. So we did put out a notice inviting formal bids for this project in March, with bids due in May. We actually only received 1 bid for this that was evaluated. That was Taft Electric Company for the $2.5 million. Essentially where we're at right now is that there are not very many companies that are able to do this work here locally in Ventura County, and even in Southern California, there's not too many out there. So with that, coupled with the just massive increases in material prices that we're experiencing, not even on a month-to-month basis right now, but day-to-day, a rebid could increase the cost and would add several months to the schedule with no assurance that we'll receive any additional bidders at this time. So that's why we're recommending the award, even though we only received the 1 bid. We did actually run this through Caltrans, and they did approve awarding to a sole bidder, basically through a cost effectiveness public interest finding determination. So this is a very formal process that we go through with Caltrans funded projects in order to make sure that we're meeting all the requirements, because typically they want to see more than 1 bidder, but in this case, even Caltrans approved awarding to this sole bidder. So with that being said, obviously there's a lot of money being moved around into this project to fund it. And bids were higher than the original engineer's estimate, which these are primarily attributed to market increases for both material and labor from the post-pandemic revival and the recovering economy across the board. This is not the only project impacted by this. We will be seeing more of this with projects as they come in over the next few months to a few years. We have just unprecedented supply chain shortages, specifically for steel-made traffic signal equipment. That stuff is really hard to come by. It's going to take months to get these signal poles and mast arms and all of that manufactured and delivered, longer than typical. They already took pretty long previously. Now there used to be 3 to 6 months. Now we're closer to 9 to 12 months at this time. And also the fact that there is, an influx of transportation funding through State Senate Bill 1, which obviously is a good thing that we have this additional money. But what's happening is there's a higher demand, which is a natural bid environment change when, there's a lot of federal and state funding available. But it does mean that it's not, the prices aren't as competitive for that reason as well. And so prices are higher. So we're kind of contending with all of these different factors, and unfortunately, the costs are higher. However, the work still needs and should get done, and the longer we wait, the more expensive it gets. So here we are. We're trying to get this project completed here. So to fund this project, we're recommending 1.4 be reallocated from 203-106, which is the traffic signal modernization project. This project was basically intended for the same thing. It was ideally going to tackle other signals in the city, but it is obviously important to make sure that the ones that we already have designed and federally funded to keep moving forward. So we are reallocating some of those funds to this. Basically, otherwise we would stand to lose the grant funding should we not move forward with this project right now. So just to give you guys a little background there as to why we're moving this money around. So the total estimated costs when all is said and done is about $3 million, which includes the construction agreement with Taft for $2.5 million, and then adding another 10% in contingency and another 10% in the engineering inspection, survey, and project management funds for this project. This project is currently funded from the Circulation System Improvement Fees Fund, as well as that federal transportation grant fund that I mentioned earlier, with the budget balance of approximately $1.5 million. After council approves that budget appropriation of the additional $92,000 from the grant, and then reallocating the funds from the traffic signal modernization project fund, as well as the circulation system improvement fees fund, the total amount of this project will be covered, and the amount of $3 million. That was a mouthful. So that does conclude this presentation. I seriously appreciate the time you took to listen in, and I'm happy to take any questions.